Hi everyone, I'm Mark Tregonning. This is my first video for my brand new project, The Kick, and I'm very excited. Some of you will be watching this from a YouTube channel, others will be inside my new Facebook group, The Kick. In the Facebook group, I'll be posting live videos, pre-recorded videos like this one, and I'll be writing blog posts and giving you links to online resources. I've put a link to the Facebook group in the YouTube description so that those of you watching on YouTube can go to the Facebook group as soon as possible and join it. But hurry, because you'll want to get on board this group early and it won't be around forever. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please, I would love you to comment below the video. I know not everyone is comfortable sharing personal experiences, particularly around health, but as much as possible, I'd love to hear about what you've been going through in your health and how it's been affecting you. And how, especially, you can give people resources that will help them improve their health. This new project is really important to me. So I have written down some notes for me to speak to, which I'll occasionally be reading like this. And I ask you to bear with me with that and with any other mistakes I make because I'm learning as I go. So let's start by talking about what I mean by the word health. It's a very slippery word. So what do I mean? Well, the World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. I'm interested in mental, physical, and spiritual health. I'm taking this deliberately broad view because I believe all these types of health affect each other. If your physical health takes a big hit, then you're also going to be affected in your mental and spiritual health. So it makes sense, I think, to think about health in a holistic way. This is my health journey. I'm on a health kick. That's why I named the project The Kick. In one sense, I guess, my whole life has been a health journey, one that won't end until I'm in the ground. But I started this particular conscious health journey in June 2020. That's when I made a decision to make the rest of 2020 a health focus for me. Health was going to be my number one priority. And as soon as I did that, I felt this incredible sense of motivation and purpose in my life. And that's still continuing today. For me right now, it's near the end of July. So it's been just over a month on that journey. And already it's been a hell of a ride. My mind feels full. My body feels full. It's really scary and exciting to be on this health journey. And I'm really glad you're with me. Within 2 weeks of deciding to prioritize health in my life, I came up with the idea for this video series and Facebook group. Like many things in my life, I have my mother to thank for this. I was on the phone to her and I was explaining how I'd come up with this new technique for decision making. I was doing this because decision making is often a trigger for me for my anxiety. And as I was explaining to her what my technique was, my mum said, "Hey, you're really good at explaining this to people. Why don't you make a seminar on it or something?" And so I thought about it, and eventually I came up with the idea for this group and web series. So what is this project? What is The Kick? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know yet. I've never run a Facebook group before. I've never done a web series like this all by myself before. So I'm going to be finding out as I go. I'm also going to be learning as I go. So as I said, please be gentle with me. What I'm going to do is I'll moderate the Facebook group and post in the Facebook group for the rest of the year, and every month I will upload one of these videos probably more, to the YouTube channel and the Facebook group. Beyond that, who knows? So why am I doing all this? Well, it ain't the money. I'm not getting paid to produce the videos, to run the Facebook group or write the blogs. So it's pretty lucky I've got a job. I'm not going to use this as a platform to promote my health business or my health products, because I don't have a health business and I don't sell health products. I really am doing this to help you, to inspire you, to engage you, to give you a place to share your experiences and to share the resources that helped make you healthier. I also would like you to help me meet my health goals in 2020. So by now, some of you will be thinking, who is this guy? I imagine that many of you are my family and friends, but there might be some people that I've never met before. So allow me to properly introduce myself. My name is Mark Tregoning. I'm an actor, lawyer, presenter, educator, and activist. I wear many hats, and I just about always have. I'm 47 years old. I grew up in Wellington, New Zealand, but I now live in Melbourne, Australia, and I've lived there for over 20 years. And what, you may ask, is my expertise in health? I have practically none. I've been a health and safety representative, and I trained in that, but other than that, I have no expertise in health at all. So, I'm not qualified to give anyone advice in health, and I'm not going to be doing that. So, I hear you ask, what will these videos and blog posts be about? Well, firstly, they'll be about health. Physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. Secondly, they'll mostly be about me, my progress throughout 2020, and my life before that. You're not going to hear about every health complaint I've had, which would be pretty boring, but I'll be as frank, open, and honest as I can be with you. I reckon that's the best way that I can encourage you to talk in a positive way about health and to take action to improve your health. I know not everyone can be or even wants to be as open about their health as I'm going to be, and that's okay. I feel like at least I can use my exhibitionism as a power for good. In terms of what you'll see on screen, it's mostly going to be me, although I will have at least one video as an interview. The topics that I'm going to talk about are those that interest me and have affected me in some way in my life. I have lots of ideas for topics, more than I can ever get through in the next 6 months. That's where you guys come in. I want you to tell me which of the topics I've come up with interests you. So what I've done is I've made a list below this video of all the different topics that I can talk on. If one of them sparks your interests, let me know. If enough people show interest in a topic, then I'll make sure that I'll either do one of these videos about it, or do a Facebook live video in the group, or write a blog post in the group. Now, you might be forgiven for thinking, hey Mark, do we really need another online health video series? I mean, I've been looking at the internet and I can tell you there is no shortage of people willing to tell you what to think, what to do, and what to buy to improve your health. So here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, one thing that I hate is unsolicited advice. Don't get me wrong, advice can be good. I mean, I've given a lot of good legal advice in my life. But it needs to be from the right person at the right time. Now, I'm probably not the right person to be giving you health advice. As I said, I don't have any training and I've only got my own experiences. And how do I know if this is the right time for you? I don't know when you're watching this. I don't know when you're reading a blog. So what I'm going to do instead is just tell you about my experiences and what has worked for me and what hasn't. Then it's up to you what you try. The other reason I'm not going to tell you what to do is because I believe we should all be aiming to be experts in our own bodies and minds. Sure, you need guidance and advice from people sometimes, but ultimately it's best if we make our own health decisions and we're responsible for our own health. So I urge you to, especially online, think twice before you give anyone health advice. It's probably best to ask them whether they're open to receiving any advice. Or even better, ditch the advice altogether and just share your own experiences. Now I'm going to talk to you about the very serious sounding topic of sources, evidence, and authority. As I said, we all need help and guidance. During the classical hero's journey, the hero will look to wise older figures, a man or a woman, to help give them guidance, tools, and show them the way. We can't face the dark night of bad health alone, and we don't need to. We need help, assistance, and advice along this road. And yes, I'm aware that I just mixed my night and road metaphors. But there are so many voices telling us how to be healthy. It's a cacophony, it's a veritable Tower of Babel. How do we know which ones to listen to and which ones to ignore? I mean, there are those who will tell you that they can lead you to a healthier life, but they're frankly lying or they're deluded. Some of them are just out for your money. Others have good intentions, but they're ignorant. How do we know who to listen to and who to ignore? So I've come up with a way that helps me decide what health roads I'll follow and which ones I will ignore along my journey. I'd like to share that with you. It's got a lot to do with my background and education, I think. As much as I can remember to do it, I try to ask where the idea came from, what the source of it was. And that might be just asking questions like, where did you hear that? Or who told you that? Or how do you know that? You see, I'm a lawyer, and we tend to like good, reliable evidence. I've found that I'm most persuaded by two types of health evidence. Firstly, personal accounts, and secondly, scientific evidence. I'll go through each of them because I think it helps you to understand how I'm thinking and talking about health at the moment. So firstly, other people's accounts. Now, I'm an actor. I love to hear people's stories. If someone tells me about their personal health problems and what made them sick and what made them healthier, I'm going to tend to listen to that. Mostly with trusted friends, but also with strangers. I'm going to try and give them some time. I believe we all have something to learn from someone else's life. I mean, I think we can all help each other by speaking our deepest truths to each other and listening to those truths. I'm hoping that you're going to gain something from hearing my health stories. So secondly, scientific evidence. I'm the son of a surgeon and a science teacher. I grew up valuing scientific evidence, especially in the area of health. Now, the gold standard for scientific evidence is the randomized, double-blind clinical trial published in a peer-reviewed scientific paper. Phew. Scientific journal, should I say. Phew. Now, that's not the only type of scientific data. There are other types as well. I'm also likely to trust professions that are valuing health, evidence-related health, higher. So things like doctors, for example. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't only trust ideas that come from one of these two sources. I mean, for example, in spiritual health, scientific data is really not that useful. But even in other types and other areas, I will often ask where the source of that information came from. Did it come from the Buddha? Did it come from somewhere else? I want to know, for example, if you tell me, oh, I've heard of this great new diet, I want to know, did it come from a dietitian? Did it come from your mother? Did it come from a random page on the internet? That stuff matters to me. So as we explore the world of health together, let's question each other about the sources of the health information that we encounter. The other thing is, telling people where you got an idea is a great way to give that person or organization credit for helping you to improve your health. And it also thanks them in a way. And I love gratitude. So what's my health history? Where have I been? Well, I can tell you that the biggest health challenge I have faced so far in my life has been major depressive disorder, recurrent episodes of clinical depression. And I'm going to let you into that wonderful journey in other videos and also talk about some of my other health problems. But where am I heading in 2020? Well, where I'm heading is pretty simple. I want to be more healthy at the end of 2020 than I was in the middle of 2020. And along the way, I want to learn as much as I can about all the different areas of my health. So how healthy am I right now? Well, that's not really an easy question. I mean, compared to who? If I compare myself now to my earlier self, then I think I'm doing great. I feel great. My mental health is better than it's been for years, I think. I went to my GP recently, earlier this month, and he did a whole lot of tests, and it looks like my physical health is about average for a guy my age. What he did say, however, was that I'm overweight, and I knew that already. And I also know that being overweight comes with a lot of health risks, especially as you get older. As for spiritual health, well, frankly, I don't really know how spiritually healthy I am. I don't even know exactly what spiritual health is. So that's something to explore in the months to come, I suppose. At the moment, I have two major health goals that I want to achieve by the end of 2020. The first is to build up my resilience to depression to try and prevent a relapse. And the second is to lose weight. So I'm going to talk about these goals more in later videos, and also about other goals that I'll pick up, achieve, discard along the way. What are your health goals for 2020? I'd love to hear about them in the comments. I want to finish by talking a little bit about the world around me and the times we're in. All around the world, COVID-19 has put the topic of health on people's minds more than it's ever been, at least in my lifetime. The focus in the media has mostly been around the physical risks of the virus, but the lockdowns have been profound in their impact on people's mental health and their sense of identity. Where I live in Melbourne, we have to wear masks whenever we leave the house. And I think things are going to get worse before they get better. What better time for us all to look at our health in all its aspects? And why should we do it alone when we can do it together, helping each other by sharing our stories, our pain, and our triumphs? Just by watching this, you have joined me on my health journey, and I thank you for that. I wish all my family, my friends, and everyone in the world all the very best in their health journeys in 2020. I'll see you soon.